Hello guys, welcome to the Prospekt Sounds channel. My name is Slava, I'm a techno and house producer, and in today's video we're going to break down a track in the style of Beyer's Drumcode label. I'll show you how I made this drop from start to finish in full detail. All the materials you'll see in this video. The FLP project, samples and preset can be found on my Gumroad, Patreon or Boosty pages. On these platforms you can always find materials from each of my videos, so if you like what I do, this is a great way to support me and my work. As a distant reference, I used Hunter's release Victory, which was released on Drumcode. I really like this track, so I decided to take some inspiration from it. I never copy blindly, I just pay attention to production details, key elements, and try to integrate them into my own workflow to achieve the right vibe. I chose a BPM that is standard for this genre, 132. I probably wouldn't call this track the pure peak time techno. It's more something in between, like peak time techno and tech house, but we'll dive into this later. The first element we'll start with is the main groove, and of course that begins with the kick and bass. We need to achieve a deep underground low end that feels powerful but not dirty. A low end that you can physically feel in the club. I found this kick with a nice click at the start. It was important for me that kick's transient cuts through the mix but doesn't steal too much attention. It's longer than the standard 8th note. In this case it worked well, but if you feel like the kick overlaps with your bass, you can always edit the length, either in the playlist, the sample, or just in the LFO tool. I applied some light EQ to add more body to the kick. In any case, everything related to the low end is a collaboration between the kick and bass. It's crucial that they don't clash. There's nothing fancy in terms of processing here. I know some people like to add saturation and other effects, but I simply chose a good sample. Most sample packs you buy are already heavily processed to the creator's taste, and adding extra processing often just hurts the track and wastes your CPU. Just choose samples that work well together and train your ears. The bass pattern is very simple, just standard 8 notes. To me, this leans more towards tech house, since peak time techno usually uses 16th note rolling bass lines. For the sound itself, I used Serum. It started with a Psytrance bassline preset that I modified. Very simple setup. The main oscillator is a saw wave. To avoid volume changes caused by random phase, I set the randomness to 0, which is useful for a stable sub-bass. We'll come back to the phase later. There's also a second oscillator, but it doesn't play a major role and just could be disabled. To shape the bass, I created a second envelope with only decay assigned to the cutoff filter. I chose a 24 decibel filter to make the sound deeper and cut more high frequencies. Added a bit of drive and dialed everything in so it works well with the kick. If you turn the cutoff filter too far left, so the bass becomes too short and deep. If you're going too far, it loses the shape and you need just to find a sweet spot. Processing is minimal, a bit of downsample distortion for character, and just a bit of compression. Kickstart 2 and LFO tool leaves a bit of bass at the start, as you can see, while LFO tool cuts it completely. For phase checking, I used Shaperbox 3 in oscilloscope mode to make sure that our kick and bass aren't out of phase. You can hear this by ear, but I like to double check visually. If the kick and bass doesn't sound right together, don't rush to change the bass preset. Just try adjusting the phase first. Next we add claps and hats. For the clap I used 2 layers. The first one sounded more live, but lacked punch and high frequencies, so I layered it with the 808 style clap on top. Fruity Blood Overdrive for the tone with stock reverb 2 with a low shelf. For the open hat, the most important thing is the length. I shortened it using the sampler envelope, which made the groove feel tighter. Reverb, delay for the phrase endings like this. Some stereo widening and panned it slightly left. For the closed hats I used a loop. I sliced it to make sure that our hat loop fits with our groove. Then I added some stereo widening EQ. There's also a right loop. Now we move into melodic elements. First is a 303 style acid synth. FL Studio has a built-in TB303 emulator called Transistor Bass, which works perfectly here. Since the track is A sharp, I transposed it down 1 semitone. I chose the anger patch, tweaked it, and used a simple sequence, moving from the root note up and down an octave with a slide on a 3rd step, like very basic techno. I cut low frequency with EQ, added ping pong delay with the Fruity Delay 3, Endless Smile for the breakdown, and automated the cutoff filter throughout the track. Another melodic element is the pluck. I wrote a simple jumping note melody. It has a slightly Asian or Japanese vibe. The sound consists of 2 layers, the pluck itself and some kind of vocal. The pluck is from Serum, a sine wave, modulated by a saw wave an octave higher. Also, I added some noise and some effects. The vocal shot is also in Serum. Basically, it's some kind of hip-hop vocal sample. This is the processing inside of Serum. Processing includes the EQ, OTT, shaper box for panning automation, some delay with delay bank, reverb, of course sidechain, and the Endless Smile for the automation to wash out the black into the buildup. I added some percussion shots to add groove some variation. The first sound is a time stretched right with distortion on it. There is a knob in FL Studio that's called multiplicator. You can use this knob like to make some strange textures and weird effects. So this is the go-to thing for me. There's distortion on it, some reverb, and some EQ and a sidechain. The second sound is some kind of strange effects. Maybe it's some kind of footsteps or something. So it goes to the same mixer channel. This is my favorite part of peak time techno: stabs, shots, and strange sounds. All synths go through the same processing chain with distortion, reverb, some EQ, Fruity Delay 3, and another EQ with sidechain. For me, this type of sounds are the most important elements to create space and atmosphere in your track. The first synth is a filtered saw wave like this. There are 3 oscillators. The main one is an 11 voice super saw, detuned slightly. Originally it was a Reese bass, so I removed the low harmonic and added a sub oscillator, make the bass more stable. The second oscillator uses the sync modulation to add some chaos to the sound. Let's take a listen. Processing includes chorus and dimension. Also, I'm modulating the cutoff filter with velocity. So in the arrangement, it looks like this. As you can see, we have different velocity on our notes. And also I automated the cutoff filter itself to have more control on amount of the cutoff I want to have. In the drop, this sound is paired with a punchy step made from 2 saws and FM heavy wave, so we can play with the wavetable position on our main oscillator to achieve some different tones, maybe play with the FM. So basically we can play with some parameters like the attack on our filter envelope that goes to the filter cutoff. We can get some unexpected results, like some kind of wobble maybe. This sound plays just a basic step pattern like this. There's also an asset shot from an older library. Originally it was a sequence, so I made it just a single note. This is mono saw with resonance on the filter to get this acid flavor. The last serum synth is a zip effect. This is a saw wave plus noise with pitch automation on envelope 2. This is some kind of psytrance style band with OTT compression, distortion and a filter. Also, I automated the filter in some moments to keep it away from sounding too static. There's also another synth shot I reused from my older project, sounds like this. Some kind of siren effects. I stretched it using E3 generic mode to preserve pitch and adjusted a multiplier for the right length. Let's talk about the buildup. The buildup is mostly automation based, so there is a high pass filter removing the low frequencies. I added a snare roll using a 909 style snare. Automated the volume for crescendo effect. The same instruments from the drop appear here with more reverb. As you can see, there are a lot of endless smile on the synth, endless smile on my 303 bass line. I also added some risers and effects. For example, I've created this falling right effect with his pitch automation, sounds like this. It's basically just a 909 right snare, so as you can see the pitch goes down like 7 semitones. There is some reverb, some EQ and some delay on it to create this type of effect. There is a tonal riser I got from the old Vengeance library, also the white noise uplifter, also from the Vengeance library. There is also a sub drop right before the actual drop. It's some kind of Kashmir sample. A reverse uplifter, also from Vengeance, pitch down 8 semitones, sounds like this. And of course a reverb clap right before the drop for the transition. And altogether it sounds like this. That's the entire track breakdown. Please leave a like if you enjoyed the video and leave a comment on which topic should I shoot the next video. Check out my Patreon, Boosty and Gumroad for all my latest projects, sample packs and preset packs. Have a great day and see you in the next video.